Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot match. We have got ourselves what's gonna be a bot versus bot, but also a ZVZ. We have got Eris, which is a bot that I've cast a lot, and I definitely pronounce it wrong. People always let me know in the comments. Eris? I mean, it's one of those things, you know? And in the top right, we've got Caninana. And, can Caninana do the can? Maybe we can find out. So, a ZVZ between two bots that I believe are more macro-oriented. I know Eris definitely has some depth to it. I can't quite recall for Caninana. But, yeah, should be a good game here. And before we get too far into it, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to go ahead and slap that like button. Join the Discord, which is linked down below. Consider becoming a YouTube member and subscribe if you ain't. Okay, so we have got pretty similar builds here. It's ZVZ, so it all kind of comes out in the wash. But yeah, just these two bots opening up pretty safe. Hatcheries, pools on the way, that sort of thing. And, ladies and gentlemen, let me know if the audio for these videos is fine. I know some people request more music, some people have different opinions on the levels and stuff. I did up the audio a little bit, so if it all sounds good, let me know. Yeah, leave a comment down below. More bots, or if you got an opinion on the audio. And the whole reason why we're casting this game, Caninana versus Eris, we have got a game that was actually suggested by one of the bot authors, and I will pretty much cast those games 9 times out of 10, probably even more than that. So if you're a bot author or you just have a cool bot game you want to send me, feel free to send me that, and it will probably be cast. So, as far as the builds go, we have got a third hatchery on the way for the red Zerg, and Caninana just going for the slower expand so far, it looks like, but it does hit 300 minerals, so I imagine we'll be seeing a hatchery go down for it too. Ling's moving out, scouting for both bots, running by that little tastelope. Not a toastalope, it's a tastelope. A roach warren is on the way for Caninana, so going to be delaying that third base to potentially go for some aggression here. Roaches very strong in the ZVZ matchup if your opponent is caught off guard or doesn't have their timings down right. Let's see if Eris is going to be ready for this or not. Or whether these roaches are just defensively. Regardless, Burrow is being researched by the blue Zerg. That's pretty much a guarantee. If you're making a bot that's building roaches, or really any bot, it's very useful, as Burrow just keeps your units alive. It requires your opponent to have detection, to have that programmed to stay on top of those units. But then we see a roach warren on the way for Eris, so we'll see if that's going to be the case or not for the red Zerg. There it is, Burrow on the way for both bots. I believe it is actually pronounced Eris. I may switch back and forth between the two, but either way, third base on the way for Caninana. And that's one of the things in ZVZ. It's like Eris went for the quicker third base, but then the slower roach warren. It's little things like that like, you're like, oh, it's Starcraft 2, every little thing matters so much. In mirror matchups, sometimes players go for more defensive builds, and one of the other players goes for a more greedy build. Usually they even out pretty quickly, as both players can take different paths to it. And there we go, look at it. I mean, it's 45 to 46. Now 46 to 46 workers at the same time. A layer's a little bit quicker for the can man, but then Eris has got a fourth base on the way. Okay, both Zergs going to be spreading their creep, and we've got ourselves a very passive ZVZ so far. We'll see when there's going to be a scrap. There is a small move out here of Zerglings for Eris, moving out towards that third base. It's rather undefended right now. There is a few roaches out on the map. though. Drones are vulnerable. We'll see if they get targeted or not. Ling's not going for a full commitment. They're just sort of dancing back and forth, unsure of the situation. They know they wanted to harass, but as soon as those roaches turn up, they get turned around. Tunneling Claws is on the way for Caninana. Eris, Ling, harass. 510 is what was said. Looks like a Ling ran in there, but so far, the only thing that have died this game is pretty much scouting Zerglings. That is that. Eris going up in drones, having that fourth base up, so it is macroing a little bit harder. There's the fourth for Caninana going up, though. So both bots are very even in that regard. Tunneling Claws is on the way for Caninana, making use of that lair. Eris has got a lair too, but no research from it. But actually getting roach speed, so prioritizing that actually. Now let's see. Those Lings still out on the map. Overseers, Overlords crossing the mini-maps, just looking like it's alive. As all those Zerg units just moving around. Overseers, Overlords, Lings running all over the place. We have got, fifth base going up for Eris. Both these bots macroing pretty darn hard with minimal harassment, so both seem to be more defensive. There's 1-1 starting for Caninana. 1-1's already on the way for Eris. There is 3 Evos, which is something that I do like for the blue Zerg, so we could potentially see melee come out if that's wanted. Ling now burrowed at a potential 5th base and 6th base location. I like that for Eris, potentially delay any bases being taken. I imagine that Caninana has got behavior to clean that up, and I'm pretty sure that it does, but yeah, you never know with bots. Something can always trip them up. Roach burrow, Tunneling Claws on the way here for Eris, so going to be matching Caninana with that, so we can just have these units just burrowing right past each other. Who knows? Overlord scouting all over the place. So if we take a look at the minimap, yeah, it's just so much vision for both of these bots. Really no surprise. Now we see Tag Eris adding mutas. That's a way to really liven up this game a little bit, making use of its giant economy to potentially get some air units. Air units, of course, are pretty good against roaches. As long as you got more than like 8 mutas, you'll kill those roaches pretty quick, particularly if there's any attack upgrades with them. And off the back of this economy, I think that's a very good decision for Eris. Of course, as once again, that's another thing that Caninana has got to be programmed to deal with properly in a ZVZ. So we've got both these bots just confidently macroing up, are really going to test their depth here as far as the strategy that's programmed into them. Queen's cleaning up Overlords all over the place. Roaches chasing Lings. There's just a million little things going on in this game so far. APM for both these bots is just pretty darn high. Definitely higher for Eris, which does seem to be the slightly more active bot. But then again, we'll see how it's going to go as these bots are now engaging each other. Eris actually down on upgrades. There we go. Now they're even. Roaches engaging roaches. Both of them burrowing, but then there's Overseers on both sides. Sort of a surround there by Caninana, actually catching Eris off guard a little bit if a bot is capable of being surprised. But that's actually quite good positioning there for Caninana, getting a full surround here. Queen's even coming to the front too. It looks like just chasing that Overseer, and with the sort of retreat micro on, it does look like that Eris is taking a few more shots, but then of course the roaches can just kind of burrow and scoot on out of there. Units that have died on both sides, it's 19 roaches to 12, so Eris is actually coming out ahead on this. Does seem to have its units grouped up a little bit more. 9 mutas, 10 mutas are now on the way for the red Zerg, and we've actually already got Corruptors for Caninana coming out, so we could potentially have a high-speed chase here if those Corruptors end up chasing the mutas across the map. And this is the thing about ZVZ. I'm worried that my computer may start lagging, as this is just so much APM, so many individual actions going on right now. Roach moves in, it burrows, it hides. It's like I can look anywhere on the map, and there's pretty much something going on, it seems. All right, Muta's popping out. Muta's now coming in to engage the army. There's 4 Queens out for Caninana. There should be those Corruptors crossing the map too. We'll see how much these Mutts are going to get done. Infestors are on the way for the red Zerg, along with Banelings actually too. The red Zerg is being pushed back a little bit. 30 roaches to 22 now. Looks like the mutas are still doing their thing across the map, sort of just running all over the place like mad. The roaches for Eris moving in forward. Now, let's take a look here. Resources lost are fairly even, and we do seem to have a bit of a stalemate. Eris is building up a bit of a bank, though, so possibly losing less units. Not many drones are dying. Good burrow there by the Blue Zerg, keeping all the drones alive at that base. Spore crawlers are up too. And this is one of the things. The bots are just really playing each other here. The Corruptors are in the sky for both bots, actually. As it's 3 to 10, there is more for Caninana. I'm curious as to where all those are. Some of them just popping out, dancing back and forth, pursuing the mutas, it looks like, as the mutas are sort of all over the place, it would appear. And that's the thing, with bots being able to micro units all over the map. The entire map can be a battle. There's a burned roach just hanging out in the main base of Caninana. I really don't know what to focus on here. It's sort of just a push back and forth, an endless battle, quite literally, an endless battle between these bots. As they're both just microing back their units as fast as they can. It does look like that Eris is gaining more ground, keeping more units alive, and actually getting on top of this base. It's currently 44 to 27 roaches going down, so no drastic difference. There has been 11 queens lost as well. Overall, resources lost is slightly in favor for Eris. The mutas, of course, are doing work too. Keeping the attention of Caninana away. Drones burrowing to avoid the mutas. Very well done. No Overseer is with those mutas. Eris is taking more bases, and with killing Caninana's one. That's pretty darn good, too. The bank is building up as well. I really don't know what bot's gonna win here. Eris just always pulls back the injured roaches, it seems. They very rarely, or they're dying less frequently, but then still, it's like decent numbers have died on both sides. The fungal growth goes down. That will make it harder for the roaches to retreat, but then it's still just a non-stop skirmish going on here. More queens across the map. There is a lot of queens out and being produced for Caninana, keeping those out constantly. Transfuse going down on some Corruptors. It's currently 14 to 13, so Eris has caught back up in that while keeping the mutas alive. So in theory, Eris should have less units on the ground, and I guess it's the queens that are making up that supply difference. So far, though, Caninana is the bot that is taking the worst trade. Down by about 3,000 resources at this point. We'll see if that gap is going to grow or not. Fungal's being used by Eris, locking down those units. And the trades, yeah, they're just better here for Eris, it seems. I mean, this is just a ridiculous StarCraft 2 game. It's hard to believe, ladies and gentlemen, that while we're casting this, there's tons more bots playing each other right now out on the ladder. Just that no one's observing, no one's watching. Sort of probably just gets put down on a spreadsheet or two. Like, yes, that match happened. And then there's all this detail that's going on, that these bots just automatically do this. No humans involved past the programming, which of course is... The bots wouldn't exist without the programming, but now they're sort of just turned free to do their own thing. The bot authors can analyze the games and make changes as they see fit if there's a glaring issue, but looking at this, it's like, I don't even know what you do. You're like, yes, my bot lost this game, so I need to change it up. Maybe it shouldn't make mutas, maybe it should make more banelings, and who knows? Caninana is holding on. Can Caninana hold on? Roaches chasing down roaches, getting on top of a lot of the burrowed ones for Eris. It's just red all over the map. I wonder if the mini-map's going to start bugging out. Eris has actually taken this, or is actually trying to take this base up here, while harassing with the mutas, denying more mining time. Caninana's actually starting to build up a little bit of a bank, though. Catching some of Eris's roaches in the top right. Seems to be taking a bit better of a trade there momentarily. We'll see if that's going to continue on or not. Caninana actually getting more upgrades than Eris. Eris has got the ability, but it has not elected to get +3 or plus... Yeah, any attack upgrades further on the ground, so Caninana will be gaining more efficiency as this goes on. That's a big deal. Actually, both bots are getting air upgrades too. There was a Broodlord out, I believe. A few Broodlords out for Caninana. They'll do pretty darn well against the roaches, so this could become more of an air battle, which is just ridiculous that these Zergs are going through the sort of stages of ZVZ. 16 to 15 Corruptors. I don't think we're going to get like a big heads-on engagement, though. That's another thing that Like, you don't really see in bot versus bot matches, you don't see like 2 Zergs or 2 players with like 15 Corruptors against 15 Corruptors, ram them heads on and hope that you're the player that wins. No, the bots don't work like that. They pretty much just like engage or disengage. Lots of scrimming. Now, Eris has grouped up its Corruptors, which I actually like to see. They can pretty much volley down anything of Caninana. So things are not looking too good for the Blue Zerg in the airfield right now. Queens are working away on the Corruptors, however, but it's Queens versus Corruptors. That's going to take a minute. And let's see. Corruptors down in the bottom right, chasing the mutas all over the place. It's just 1 Corruptor per muta. This Corruptor decides to start peeing on that extractor, this one on that hatchery, just peeing all over the place. It's just insane how they're fighting everywhere. Like, how am I supposed to commentate this? Okay, Roach working away on a queen, not gonna get it. The queen's like, yes, I have unlimited APM, so I'll transfuse that hatchery. You don't get these sort of things out of human players. No, you definitely do not. Now, both bots have been building up a bank. Caninana actually more so than Eris. Eris has lost more resources than Caninana, and yeah, unless I had that backwards, Eris has always been the one was trading a little bit better earlier in the game, but that seems to have flipped now, as a matter of fact. And so, all of a sudden, it's like, which Zerg is going to win this game? Eris does lose that base. Another base going to go down to those Corruptors. I mean, the caustic spray ability is incredibly strong, particularly if you got Corruptors spreading, just moving all over the map. I actually love this. The fact that Caninana's Corruptors are not just chasing these mutas endlessly. They're like, oh hey, there was a hatchery, let's caustic spray that. Like, that is, I don't even know how you go about programming that. To be like, yes, this is the right decision. And it very much is, as Eris is all of a sudden down a lot of base. It's probably going to start burning through its bank if these bots keep trading, and they do seem to keep trading. Infestors haven't been getting too much value for Eris. Let's see there. Another hatchery going up for Caninana, and while it's just been holding off on its fewer bases, it has been doing pretty darn good at that. The Corruptors are out on the map for Eris, but they haven't been caustic spraying down anything just yet. Spore Crawlers out on the map too. I mean, that might be something that could potentially be useful here. Shut down all those Corruptors just moving across the map. A couple Spore Crawlers. Bots could potentially make use of those in an interesting way. Like, you can burrow and unburrow the Spore Crawlers with unlimited APM, so you kind of could program a Zerg bot to establish sort of like a front line if you wanted to. Like, you imagine that the bots probably have like a center point picked out on the map as far as how far they should advance. You could probably have a few Spore Crawlers moving back and forth, but yeah, it looks like Eris in a bit of trouble. What's the unit count right now? 25 to 24 Roaches, even numbers of Corruptors, Infestors instead of Queens, and then the 10 mutas still out on the map. Has a muta died? 2 mutas have died. I wonder if Eris replaces those as soon as they die or not. We'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, Caninana pushing across the map. Eris in a bit of trouble. I mean, this game could flip, but the upgrades do seem to be a big factor here. Eris not getting its +3. Yeah, interestingly enough, not getting +3 attack either. Maybe it's one of those things that the bot author elected to say, okay, my bot is almost never going to play games this long, or never have this much resources available, so why would I bother programming that when it could potentially just cause more issues? But when your bot does have insane amounts of resources, it's probably worth it to set it to research that. A lot of Overlords going down to the Corruptors of Iris. Let's see, the Corruptors coming on in now, catching those of Iris, so potentially some of those going to go down. A lot of those Overlords did die. Caninana replacing those right away, so it won't really be supply blocked. The Corruptors are running away, going to fly over that Spore Crawler, so I'm going to take some heat there. Looks like a couple do go down there, actually. What's the dead Corruptor count right now? Currently 13 to 17, so that's the thing about this game. Units are dying on all sides. I'm curious to see if Caninana is going to get +3 flyer attack as soon as this is done or not. And that would give it another advantage in the skies over Over the red Zerg, we see Caninana getting efficiency out of its transfuses too, now that it's got a good number of queens, so no units really dying. That's definitely a big factor, as the queens are basically just dying early on, but now there seems to be enough. The transfuse is going to be endless. That's probably where a lot of the efficiency is coming from the can man. There's the +3 flyer on the way, and yeah, Eris seems to be falling behind, going down on resources, and yeah, the mutas are still flying all over the map, but the Corruptor tailing has been great. Mutas find a Broodlord, but they're not going to kill it off. They're doing what they can. The map is still flashing red all over the place. The way that Corruptors have dominated the skies this game, though, I can't help but feel that like a couple of mobile spore crawlers could be something that, as a bot author, that you could potentially program in. And that could be big. In a ZVZ anyway. That's getting very specific as far as situations go, but you never know. We see Eris advancing on in, but then kind of getting pushed back. The Corruptors are retreating. It's currently 16 to 14. And yeah, Eris engaging, but then just getting pushed away. Moves in, pushed away. These bots are engaging each other. There's some more Corruptors for Eris. Can it win an air fight? Potentially, probably not, just due to the fact that there isn't really big fights in bot versus bots that often. It's more of a trickle, and if you're leaking more than your opponent, you will be the weakest bot. And so far, yeah, it is looking pretty good for Caninana as it crosses that 10k resource threshold. It would take a major bug out, I think, for it to lose at this point. And then again, I was pretty sure Eris was going to win earlier on, so you never know. Let's see, hatchery on the way, getting reestablished. I mean, Eris has had the more bases for longer, but it does not have the resources. It's lost 11,000 more. The efficiency, the +1 attack, the queens transfusing for Caninana have been huge. Where are all those ladies, by the way? The queens are kind of just hanging all over. They seem to be more defensively assigned for Caninana as opposed to going to the front lines. There's a couple moving up now. Eris still staying in this, staying above 1,000 minerals. That's sort of the mark to watch. When it goes down below that, that's when it's gonna get real desperate as the mining starts to dry up. Now, I mean, maybe there's a chance. Muta's coming on in for Eris. They're being chased by the Corruptors. Oh, it's just insane how good the Corruptor pursue from Caninana is. It's like, oh, okay, there's 3 meters that way, so section off some Corruptors. Like, that would be some math that I'd really like to see how that's decided. Mutas are going down. I guess we'll get to see if Eris does replace those. Instead, it is just making more roaches and Corruptors. Adrenal glands is on the way, and lings are on the way for Caninana. Interestingly enough, 16. Seems like a bit of an odd number, but I suppose there is 20 out on the map already. And these bots are engaging each other. Eris starting to creep back up to minerals, so the trades can't be too bad right now. Down 13k resources, however. The APM is pretty darn high for both of these bots. Currently 75,000 for Eris. An epic ZVZ is what we've had so far. And I mean, they're engaging each other. The trades do seem to be alright now for Eris. Is it enough, though? And the gap is widening. Now it's 14k behind. Roughly. Getting on top of some of those roaches. I am interested to see how this game would play out, though. If Eris had got those attack and carapace upgrades that it definitely needed. The Corruptors are doing pretty well, but there's the +3 attack. The +3 carapace is done for is on the way for Caninana. That'll help the Corruptors out, even if it's just a little bit. That tends to scale quite a bit. And now let's see, Muta's still flying all over the place. More roaches on the way for Eris. Caninana is falling in the resources a little bit, so there's always a chance, you know, if Caninana lets Eris get up and say this base and this base, then Eris could potentially have more longevity here. There's Broodlords out for Caninana. The Corruptors still seem to be in pretty high number for Eris. 12 to 15 though, so not quite enough. Lots of roaches on the way out for both bots. This Corruptor's peeing on this base, or puking, whatever you want to call it. I guess that would be pretty gross pee if it was pee, but more like puke, I guess. And it's puking all over it. One Corruptor versus one hatchery, ladies and gentlemen. Who wins this fight? The results may surprise you. it does run out. I believe it doesn't channel forever, if I'm not mistaken. Increases to 35 seconds. Yeah, don't quote me on that. Like, I know that it seems it goes on forever, but like one corruptor may not be able to kill a building. Caustic spray may run out. Don't quote me on that though. Okay, let's see. These bots still engaged in all over the map. Resources are going up for Eris. They're going down for Caninana. The resource gap is actually closing, so you're telling me there's a chance Eris has this base in the top right? It does still have this hatchery alive, just barely. Oh, that base is so low. Roaches are engaging each other. Oh, the queen's coming out to help. Oh gosh, is the hatch gonna die? Yes, it is. That's a blow to Eris. I don't know if Eris can afford that. This hatchery dying as well. Uh-oh. Things are starting to look a little bit up for Eris, but now it's gonna have to start dipping into that bank because it's really just got one mining base. And Caninana is gaining ground. It's got this hatchery up. It's already mining at it. Gonna be building a spore crawler there, which is good to see. That drone burrowing its whole body in the sand. When you're beyond the head in the sand level and you just body in the sand. Let's see. Skirmish is going out in the middle of the map, and I mean, yeah, Eris is starting to fall behind on resources after losing those bases. Both bots are falling in drones. There's another Corruptor puking all over the place. Those really have been an MVP for Caninana. Upgrades and Corruptors puking seem to have been doing pretty good by the Blue Zerg. Corruptors in the top right now puking on this base. The defense for Eris really isn't there, it seems, to deal with that, unfortunately. No spores or anything. And yeah, losing that base is a big blow. Resources for Eris are soon going to drop too low. Below replacement level is where the income is at right now. Lots of roaches are out for the red Zerg. It does seem to have a lead in that, 56 to 30. Then again, there's Broodlords out for the blue Zerg. So, I mean, that's not good. Corruptor count currently 13 to 11, so still within a stone's throw of each other. They can potentially kill off the Broodlords. The Infestors are on the ground too, so I mean, Eris is kind of gaining a little bit of ground. It killed this base. This base in the top left is still mining, but look at the resources. There's pretty much nothing for the red Zerg, down to 14 drones, and it just keeps building more army for the most part. The red Zerg is pushing forward though, getting some good engagements. Resources lost, 13k difference between them, but Eris cannot replace these roaches that are dying now, cannot replace the Corruptors, and I think that that very well may be actually a final fight in a ZVZ, as yeah, there's just no resources for Eris, and yeah, I mean, the sniping of the bases was huge, otherwise this game could have gone on, and if we look, Caninana down to 3k resources, so not that much left in the bank. Muta's still flying all over the place, of course. What a nutty game. What a great ZVZ that was recommended for me to cast. And, yeah, hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Consider becoming a YouTube member if you enjoy this content. That's the best way to support the channel. And, yeah, it looks like drones may have to get their claws dirty here. And they do. Unfortunately, it's just attack and burrow. Here comes in a roach to help out, but yeah, Eris is pretty much done here. Lots of roaches still on the ground running all over the place, but this base is going to go down, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be it. What a great ZVZ though. These late game bot games, like sometimes they can be a little bit futile, but this one, while there was just a lot of actions going on, it was still really interesting to see which bot was going to come out on top. Very, very good bots, both of them, in the late game, it seems. And the fact that there's so much work put into these is incredible. And, yeah, we wait for supply of the red Zerg to go down. The roaches and infestors sort of just hanging out in the main base now. Now there's some puking going on, it looks like, and that's going to be it. Thanks so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen.